Except she did not become a princess
No,
overnight.
no.
The assistant to a dude.
Your dick thinks it's exceptional, son.
I wish it wasn't billed as like a romance.
I wish
Because
it
then I
wasn't
would have
written at
gone,
all. Hello.
hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I'd be
You know,
tired.
I'm surprisingly not tired considering how little I got sleep, but I mean,
Yeah,
it
I've
is
not
what it
been
is.
sleeping much lately either.
Which is really annoying because you should be able to use your vacation to sleep.
Yeah, but I think I'm just because I'm doing so much during the day and then my brain won't, it's just, yeah,
You really like set yourself up for failure for the vacation. Like, bruh,
yeah,
learn your lesson.
I truly do. I truly do. Because honestly, present me and future me typically despises past me. I really need to
Hmm.
get my shit together.
You say that every time.
I know.
And here we are.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's where we are.
Mm.
Also, unfortunately, this fucking book. What the fuck? God
It was
damn.
definitely, I think, not like it. It's weird because it fit the vibe
Sure,
partially. I mean, there
partially.
wasn't really
Any romance to speak of?
no. It was there, but it was kind of like muted. It's kind of giving like I don't I don't know how to describe it because it's there like but it's not like the focus of the story. Like we've had this conversation
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind
crime
it
with like
if it's
crime
not
based
right, but it
ones.
needs to still be there. They
Right.
didn't even
Well, that's
kiss,
what
nothing.
that's well, that's where I was kind of trying to
Yeah,
go with my sentence.
yeah,
Was we've had this discussion before where if you're
yeah.
going to combine all of these things into one and it's supposed to be marketed as a like
As that,
romance book,
yeah.
then yes, put more romance into it instead of having all of the other stuff at the forefront
Right. You can't
of
call
the
it a
story.
romance if it's not actually a romance, in my opinion.
Right.
But
No, no, no.
you can't just say, "Oh, I have feelings for this person," and that
And
call
it's
that a
hard too
romance.
because like it the way that like the setting of it is it's not like modern. It's definitely like
Yeah.
older. But even with that, like we've read Regency and all that other stuff, and it's still like the romance is still in there, and yes, you can fit it to the time, but at the same time, like it's there and it's like obvious.
Yeah, but I think it says a lot in of itself with the way that it's written. So I mean, I guess I couldn't have expected much because oh goodness, I almost the only reason I didn't DNF this and this didn't end up on our thing was because we were just
We've DNF'd enough right now.
no, I'm sticking to my we DNF things, but the only reason I didn't DNF this, which I would have if it was on my own, but is because you liked it and because
Well, I
I
mean, like I just didn't have that
it
much of
was
a
last
time,
minute.
but it's more so that probable reason.
I guess I should
It
get
is
half the gripes out of the way first instead of
I
just
think I
like
wish it wasn't.
maybe bitching all through.
I wish it wasn't billed as like a romance.
I wish
Because
it
then I
wasn't
would have
written at
gone,
all.
Ariel.
Okay, I'm going to devil's advocate, and Crystal always complains if it's in third person and if the formatting is weird. We just did recently, but it not only is it in third person, but the formatting is so fucked up that it's missing every single number that would be in the book. It's just disappeared. And everything is crazy and it repeats constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have this it's almost like when you watch this cheesy TV show or whatever and they have the narrator and then they were about to find out what happened next.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that on every page. And then we had to do the next thing and then it just recapped it again. So not
Mm-hmm.
only did we have the gross weird foreshadowing, but then we had the explanation and then we had the oh let's recap it again all
Mhm.
within a very short amount of time.
I'm not
And
saying it's without faults. Trust me, I
oh
I
man, did
get
it piss
it.
me off. I was like, I cannot
Um,
read this dribble
I
again.
think that the chapters weren't numbered because I believe the chapters are just named instead of being like chapter one, da da da. It's probably just
I
saying
don't
like,
think so because of the like the comma and the spacing, because even in the beginning, the year was, and then there was comma and spacing, and there was no year.
oh yeah, no formatting terrible.
When it was a something that was written to someone, there was no spaces. It was,
Yeah.
I would be honored
Um,
if you would join me for my power study, like all one sentence, all one word.
yes. So formatting was bad. There's a lot of big paragraphs that should have been broken up into smaller, especially separation between like speaking and all this other stuff like end of sentence. Don't just continue into the paragraph. You need to new paragraph it.
If it
And
would
so
make
there's that.
sense if it pertained to the dialogue, but it didn't. So
That's what
that's the, yeah.
that's where I was kind of going with that. The other part too is like it is separated into parts, but the parts aren't new pages. They're just
Mm-mm.
continuation of the stuff above it. And then underneath that is a chapter. And like,
And they're not parted like in a way that would make sense. They're just
right,
randomly like, oh, here's a part. And
right.
then, yeah,
Yeah. And then because if you
switching point
look
of
at,
views.
yes, if you're looking at the chapter breakdown in the Kindle, you're not going to get one because they're not
No,
their own
I know I
individual
tried.
chapters. It's like
Yeah.
one giant book with chapters thrown kind of throughout it.
With
So I
point of view
don't,
switching randomly throughout.
right. So like, no, I had issues. I'm not saying this was a, like, I was just saying
Yeah.
like I wasn't having, I don't think I was having as hard of a time with it as you were, but I did have my problems. Like I'm not saying I didn't have problems with it because I had a lot of problems. I was just waiting to talk with you about them. But yes, the formatting was not great. It was not great and it was really hard um
Well, I had no idea if
for
you had
that.
problems
Well,
because
this
I
like
mentioned problems and you're like, oh, I liked it. So that's why I didn't know.
oh, well, cuz
That's the only reason I kept going.
oh, sorry.
Because you said you liked it. So
I apologize.
no, I mean,
Um
I forced it through. I forced it through. It's rough.
yeah, I got confused at one point because it went from being because it was consistent originally yes, the third person's terrible and all of a sudden we were in the head of Princess
Yeah, someone
Vivian and I was
else.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Wait." Cuz I could understand the two of them because they're the two like the main characters are they're the two Lydia and the prince
A
Adrian.
Adrian.
Adrian. I could understand having the point of view
Adrian.
for them, but it was really like all of a sudden like just one chapter too. It wasn't even like a whole section where it's just the bitch fiance lady.
Yeah, the
All of a sudden
parts
it was
didn't
just
make
her
any
point of view,
sense.
which was
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, so like yes. And I know that our normal format is we cover the book and then we talk about the problems afterwards. Sorry.
Couldn't
We
couldn't
couldn't let
hold
it
back
go
on this
for
one.
we needed to
Well,
like
and I needed to preface in case I make comments along the way.
mhm.
I'm going to try not to, but
Okay.
yeah.
Ariel's
Well,
also lacking on her sleep, so here we go. She might be a little bitchy.
I
We both
think
get bitchy when we're tired. It's fine. We'll just stop complaining. Hmm?
no, we won't. No, we won't.
And
Yeah, so third person, but mainly in the overview of Lydia, who
mhm,
is our female main character.
mhm.
I wish there was even the smallest, tiniest bit of world building so we knew what the fuck was going on in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form. But from what I can gather, she's a 24-year-old inventor.
Mhm.
She's basically been on her own since she was like 16 and just like gives the I was a girl in the village doing all right. But then she became a princess overnight.
Except she did not become a princess
No,
overnight.
no. She was just like doing her thing, vibing in the village when some messenger came to her door and basically says that he has a message from the king and it is requesting her presence to appear before the Royal Commission of Innovation and Progress. And it's not a request. If you're summoned, you go.
Mhm.
And it puts it like it's a request, but it's not. And it's basically like, oh yeah, the letter is basically like, you've been selected for the inclusion in the Crown's innovation program, and you have to report within 7 days. Refusal is not an option. And it's like, what the fuck? Because all of a sudden the kingdom can just like plink you out of your life, and now you're in service to them forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost
So,
like that does happen.
yes. But yeah,
So
she was
it's
not
not
happy.
as like it's not as there's a word, I don't know, my words.
Common,
No, it's not as like not
prevalent.
common as you would think, I guess. There's
Oh,
another word for it.
hmm.
Like it can happen. Like
Sure.
it's I
But
just don't know the word.
I don't I don't think it's that common.
Well, like
Maybe
kind
it
of
is
like the
here, but in this book. But we wouldn't know because there's no building. There's
right.
no world building. Lydia's grand invention is a clockwork bird that brings messages and letters.
Dude, I need to know more about this clockwork bird because I loved that little thing. I
Oh,
want to
the
know what it
sparrow
looks
in the
like.
end. Yeah, yeah. But this one's like I pictured this one more like owl, like, but maybe I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked it because like I it's weird because I love all the steampunky stuff because it gives me really big like I played like a video game that was like based around steampunk stuff and it gives like all of that with those specific clocks and like I love the little bird thingies. And
Mm.
then it was giving messages that one is cute. I liked it.
Yeah, reading the blurb, I was excited about
Hmm.
the potential,
Yeah.
not the execution. So that was, I think it was an extra like double hit bummer for me because I was like, ugh, I wanted this to be good.
Yeah.
Lydia is torn because she's trying to hype herself up and say that while there might be more opportunities with the tools and the access that the palace has, this could be amazing for her,
Mhm.
while also knowing she's basically a prisoner for the rest of her life. So she's trying to hype it up for herself.
You know, sometimes you gotta lie to yourself.
Yeah.
I do it every day.
Yeah. So when it's time to go, she gets brought to the palace and gets brought to her room. And of course, it's beautiful, but does not feel like home because it's not. I do wonder what happened to her actual home. Again, not much detail here.
I don't know because yeah, because she had talked about how
All her
she
stuff.
doesn't have any family at
Yeah.
all at home.
It's like what happened to her home and her stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But she is brought into a briefing for the innovation program and it kind of explained that she has been recognized because of her messenger bird and what she's able to do with it. But her duties for the palace will basically be assisting some other old dude in just like improving the efficiency of things
Hmm.
around the palace. Nothing new. She's basically a glorified assistant.
Yeah. Which is hard for her because like she
Yes.
was doing her own shit and she was like gaining a reputation of like all this invention stuff because of
Hmm.
what she was doing outside of the palace. And so it's kind of like a slap on the face to just be like the assistant to a dude,
Right. Well,
first
you
of
don't,
all.
yeah, you don't call somebody there because there's, I mean, I get paying your dues and doing the process, but it was
Mhm.
almost like they called her there saying she had all this great potential and then gave her to this guy
Just
that said he
kidding.
wanted her just because she had small fingers.
Yeah.
She, does the right thing and is basically like, she looks forward to what she can contribute. I mean, she has no choice now. She's just gotta
Hmm.
ride the waves. But once they get done with the briefing, she decides to explore around the palace, around the little little market kind of place
Mhm.
outside the palace and just like getting to know the inner kingdom area. And it seems like tinkering and inventing is basically like the primary thing that people do in this kingdom because that's what most
Mhm.
of the markets are selling. They're selling like tools and parts and all kinds of stuff like that. And she sees this guy there who looks about her age, and they bond over recognizing how cool one of the parts are and whatnot. And they end up walking along the market together. And some guy tries to sell.
Some really shitty quality like springs and stuff like this, and
Yeah,
he goes, yeah, these are the best
you'll
ever, the
find
best in the
no
land.
other
No,
deal
and she's
anywhere.
like, these are garbage. And he goes, you're questioning me? And I'm like, girl, shut up. Yes, how dare
And
you
then,
question a man,
yeah,
first
the
of all.
guy comes up and is basically like, bro,
Yeah,
you're not
these
going
are
to talk to
terrible.
her like that. These are
Yeah.
terrible. And all of a sudden, the shop guy's demeanor is all like, ooh, ooh, what? I'm so sorry, sir. Which Lydia's like, that's weird.
And somehow, no, I'll wait.
She's like, that's weird.
I'll wait.
But they get to talking through the market and whatnot, and she tells him why she's there in the palace area, that she got um
Selected for this
selected,
thing.
yes, selected for the innovation program. And he's all like, oh, that's really cool, how he tinkers himself and all that. And they just really bond over their knowledge
Their
and
bond over
their
being nerds,
basically, yeah. Like
inventing nerds.
he likes aerial things, and she just made that
Yes.
owl, so, or the bird, excuse me. I kept thinking of it in
I
as
mean,
an
yeah, she
owl.
kind of geeks out over the because he's basically wanted to do planes and shit like that, and
Yeah.
like she's trying to, and he's talking about how like, oh, I might be skipping ahead, but talking about how like, where'd the thought go? Hold on. Like like the logistics of doing it. He's like, oh, I've got all of this down, but there's like one thing missing, and like she's
That is
thinking
ahead, but
too.
that's okay.
Sorry.
No, 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 no. You're right. But that's just, yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't quite get into that nitty-gritty at the market, but they should have. I don't know. Anywho, Lydia's basically like, got to get back because she has to go do this presentation thing and actually
Mhm.
get inducted into this thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, sure, we'll see you later. And they exchange names, and his is Adrian.
Just
And
Adrian.
just Adrian. Adrian.
I know. Well, she's giving him her like full government name,
Right. Yeah.
which is not suspicious to begin with. Lydia,
Lydia
for
was
how
not thinking
smart
with
she
her upper brain.
is, that is okay. Yeah, fair point. She was thinking with her lower brain.
Yes. Just saying. So
Sometimes I like to think with my lower brain too. Sorry.
goes to the formal presentation ceremony in front of the royal family.
Hmm.
King's there, queen's there, the princes are there, which they say is there's two sons, right? And at the beginning of the book, they say that Adrian is the second son. But at the end of the book, they say he's the first son.
So continuity.
Yes. Anywho, so surprise, surprise. I just ruined it if you didn't know already. But Adrian is one of the sons
Okay, so
sitting up there.
if do they just are is the royal family like not enough in public that you wouldn't know who these people are? Because like that's what when she met him in the
Yeah.
market, I was like,
So
wouldn't you
I
know
think
though?
she
Or at
knew the
least
king
even
and queen. And
what, you wouldn't know the sons' names?
I think she knew of them, but I think she just assumed it was like
Mm.
coincidental that they had the same name kind of thing because it's not like there's only
It's kind of
so many
giving
people.
Aladdin in reverse.
But I think for her, she also had her head in the sand a lot at
Mm,
home, so I
that's
wonder if
true.
she even paid attention to,
That's true.
kingdom politics.
Fair, fair.
For the benefit of her doubt,
Right.
giving her the benefit of the doubt. So, yeah, surprise, surprise, it's Adrian. Lydia's pissed. She does her presentation, though, shows off the bird. The king's all, that's really cool, and is basically like, Adrian, you've shown such interest in these kinds of devices. What do you think of Miss Ashworth's work?
I love the accent.
And he's all like,
Dead.
engineering is exceptional, father. Exceptional. No, your dick thinks it's exceptional, son.
He could think it's exceptional, but no, he is
He
thinking with
does,
his
but
dick.
currently his dick thinks it's exceptional.
That is true.
And he's singing Lydia's praises and blah, 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 blah. And Lydia finally gets the fuck out of there when she can. And she's pissed because, bro, you just basically like double. Why didn't you just be honest? That's weird.
Yeah.
But as she leaves, some guy walks up to her with a letter and is basically like, this is for you. This letter is all one word. I want you to know there's no spaces.
Dude, yeah. No, that annoyed me. I was like, what?
At first,
I
I thought
didn't.
that was part of like the code or something.
So
And
I thought it was on purpose
yeah.
originally.
And then I was like,
And I
oh,
was
no,
like,
still
oh,
more of the
okay.
bad formatting.
I was like, oh, maybe it's on purpose. Like, okay, whatever. No.
No, no. So, anywho, it's Adrian asking Lydia to come to his private study. They have a mutual interest that they can talk about, and
They've got multiple mutual interests.
it would benefit them both to have a discussion.
Yeah,
Hmm.
discussion.
Yeah, she wanted to ignore it because how dare he? But also, he's been one of the only people that she's kind of connected with about all this stuff there. And she's like,
Hmm.
ugh, gotta go, gotta go fast. So she goes, and he's still all formal. Thank you for accepting my invitation. And she's, Your Highness. But basically, he's like, Adrian, like, same man you met in the market. And she's basically like, really? Because which one's
Really,
real?
bro?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But he says he was genuine there. He just, for the first
Has to
time,
play
was
the royal
having,
duties in
yeah.
the
And for the first
palace.
time, he was having a conversation with someone who didn't know who he was and was like seeing him as a human, not the prince. So he just kind of went with it. It was wrong, but he went with it and he apologizes. But he would like to offer her an opportunity. And here's where they discuss what you were saying.
Okay.
So, no, you're good if you want to.
Oh, yeah. So he is super interested in flying machines. Very futuristic, guys. It's basically planes. I don't know if it's planes or those like the balloon thingies
Yeah,
with
it
the,
seemed
you
more
know what
of
I'm
like
talking
a
about?
flying apparatus versus an
Yeah.
actual plane. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's been like working on it and he's been trying to like figure out how to get everything to work to actually make it happen. Obviously, because like you got to think of weight and this. And she's like super interested in this too. And she actually
She's
has
like instantly like, wait, but what about this? But what
like,
about
what
this?
about this? What about this? And she does like come up with some really good ideas. Like, I think that this could work and it could just be the missing piece that he needs. But of course, like, so in order to do all this, they're gonna have to fucking work together on this
Right.
project, but
And
secretly.
he has tools and stuff that the
Sheila
innovation
doesn't have it.
program doesn't
Does not.
have. And it would give her an opportunity to be actually creative. Like, come on, let's work together. I did not fully buy into the why this has to be secret. I'm just saying they didn't set it up in a
I,
way that
yeah.
I fully bought in. Did I slightly understand where they were going with it? Yes. But they didn't set it up in a way that
Plot.
allowed me
That's
to buy
why.
in. Yeah,
Plot point.
right.
No, I didn't understand it either. I didn't know if maybe it was a like while she's in the project like innovator program, she can't be working on like outside projects, but like it's not it wasn't
Right.
really
And
said
if that
why
was the
she
case,
can't.
then he's part of the crown. He could just tell her to work on, you know what I mean? It's like it
Yes
doesn't,
and no because I bet you the king has say over him, so he wouldn't really have the say over it like if you know what I mean. So
especially where she like brings up like as a commoner, spending time with him alone would be perceived as impropriety. Like, why would
which
they,
true.
right. So why wouldn't they just do it in the open? You know?
Yeah. No.
It wasn't set up in a way that allowed me to buy into it. But
Hmm.
just everyone knows they're going to do it in secret. And unfortunately, they're not going to do it in secret. They're just going to invent in secret.
Hmm.
Yeah. So they decide to meet in the evenings and work on this.
Which makes it even more insane, but
Yeah.
okay.
He shows her all the things he's been working on, and she's so excited. And they get going, and she's already able to help, and they play off each other, and it's pretty great. However, they have this not palpable, by the way, but they have this written in chemistry that while they're around each other alone, that, they can just feel the chemistry. I couldn't, but they could. So I guess that's all that matters. And they agree to meet again the next evening and have this be a every evening kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. So they fall into a pattern and a routine. Lydia spends her days working on her assignments and then her evenings with Adrian working in the bowels of the basement in his workshop. And everything's going quite speedily.
No drama at all is gonna
No,
happen,
no.
guys.
Well, unless you
Except for the
listen
fact
to
that
the weird
he's
narrator voice that tells you in the book that
oh.
until they realized that they were doomed, basically. You know, it was one of those kind of, and I was like, ugh, over it. But the next morning,
Because class
or
is not
yeah,
the only problem as to why they can't be together.
no, because one morning news arrives and it is announced that Adrian Blackburn, no, Blackthorn, I don't care, that Adrian is to be married and a bride has been chosen by his family. So Lady and Vivian Ashwood, who's the daughter of a duke, is coming to be the princess. This marriage is going to strengthen the kingdom's alliance with her kingdom.
Which makes sense because that happens a lot.
Absolutely.
Dude, Vivian is.
Adrian and Lydia, not happy because Adrian doesn't want to be married off, but he understands his duty. And Lydia just doesn't want their evenings to stop. She knows what it was, she knows all it could have been. And he's a little frustrated more than her. Like, bro, you don't know the realities of your own situation?
No, he wants his dick wet and he doesn't want it to be with the other chick.
Yeah. She's basically like, we both knew this was impossible.
Yeah.
Like, are you dumb?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's all like puppy-eyed, like, it seemed possible in this workshop. It felt real. Bro. So they just continue to be work only. Personal feelings cannot interfere with work that could change the world. They
I mean,
really think
technically
that
it
they're
could.
like gonna
Onto
gonna
something.
change, yeah. So they keep going. And then we hear about Lady Vivian arriving twice. So it's weird because she's there for this, but then they make a big grand of her arrival and again, the repetitive weird, it's just odd. Lady Vivian seems smart and calculated at first glance. And Lydia and Adrian are like, maybe we should be more cautious. But Adrian is not
You
willing to
should.
abandon their important work simply because of some political connection. These projects are too important. Their collaboration too valuable. So they continue. They continue on. And during all this time, Lady Vivian starts to turn the castle. She starts to recruit people.
Yo, she's like, listen, it's hard because like she's kind of valid because like this is put together,
Well,
but
okay.
at the same time, the shit she does, I'm like,
So
girl,
she instantly moves in and starts like turning people in the palace to be her minions and her spies. She doesn't even have any reason to have that. But
that
we
is
learn
true.
way later on in the book that she's basically sent there to change and undermine the entire kingdom. So this is part of that. But at the time,
We
again,
didn't
not
know, and it's kind
right.
of like it's like a, oh my God, bitch, what are you
Why? Right.
doing?
Right. Like she's
Yeah.
setting up all these spies and she's trying to dismantle everything. And it's really putting a lot of pressure on Lydia and Adrian as the time goes on. But they are firm to,
Still do what they're doing.
yes, yes. She meets Lady Vivian, and again, she's very specific in the things that she says. And I don't like how they have to mansplain every single thing in this book, where it's like,
Well, it is written by a man, so
well, that would explain it. Yeah. But it's basically like,
you're like,
yes,
oh, okay.
but her tone, or, but she didn't mean that by those words. She meant like, yes, yes,
Hmm.
we know. Thank you. Lady Vivian instantly does not like Lydia, but she also doesn't like her. We find out more that it's because she's in the inventor program and all that stuff. She doesn't like that Adrian is gone in the evenings. It's not like they're together, but so
No,
how would,
but
but her spies are telling her spies are
so
telling her that he goes all evening.
the thing is like, so I can understand her being upset if he's not there at night. And yes, while it's not
They don't,
like a love situation, it's still like it's a
but they're
respect
not
thing.
even in the same place.
I know.
Like, so how would she know he's
Okay.
not there at night? You know?
That's true. Okay, fair point.
That was what I meant by that. Like, I could understand if they were sharing a bed
Yeah.
or a room or a wing even. Anything. So as she's slowly turning the palace, it's pretty obvious in the atmosphere that things change. And then once she actually meets Lydia and like starts to target, it's clear that the atmosphere at the palace is starting to target Lydia. All of a sudden, people are refusing to talk to her, turning the other cheek. Like there's random guards more around her. It's very odd. But Lady Vivian is putting herself in. Says, put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach. No, she definitely went for the hostile takeover side of things.
Yeah, like instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Adrian and Lydia's inventions are going really well. They have created a smaller version of her mechanical bird for messages, but like a tiny little sparrow, like super tiny little sparrow that flits around and has a secret um, little thing for messages.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like encoded. So that was pretty cool. And as things are getting more and more hostile in the palace, they start using the birds to communicate with each other.
Listen, you gotta utilize something in, technology. Why not?
Hmm.
Smarter than letters.
Yes. And as things progress, Lydia's actual job at the palace gets worse. Like the guy she's working for is basically doesn't want to talk to her. It's just she's totally getting isolated from the entire palace, which we know that that's a common tactic of.
That it is.
So they don't back down, which pisses Lady Vivian off. So Lady Vivian makes a point to chat with Lydia again, basically pissing in the sand.
Yeah. Like basically kind of like know your place, bitch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope you remember our conversation.
Girl.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, that shit's gonna bite you in the ass. Because guess what? It
Hmm.
does.
Yeah. Yes and no, because somebody had to
Mm.
stop there, you know. But
I mean, yes. But
Lydia the whole time is basically like, we can stop. Maybe we can, like your future is more important than, but Adrian is like, no, this is crucial.
so we blame the man that did this because
Yes.
yes, because it is his fault. Like
Yes.
it's a little bit
But
of both, but yes.
the whole kingdom would have succumbed to Lady Vivian's
Yeah.
plans, though. So, I mean, I guess it's not tragic.
Says a lot about your kingdom if someone else can come in and change everybody's mind about everything.
Yeah.
She was just locating the weak spots and exploiting it.
So then they find that they should stop meeting in the basement together at the same time because not only is everything increasing, the rumors around the palace are increasing, but someone keeps walking down that hallway, which there's no reason for them to be there, basically like checking in. So they decide to move their projects into a whole bunch of other like mini workshops throughout the palace so that they can just like, okay, Lydia will go here and work on this one that day. Adrian will go, like they'll just, and they communicate using the birds, letting each other know what's going on.
Seems like a lot of work for some dick.
Yeah. And I don't understand why he couldn't have just been like, Father, I have an idea and I'd like to explore it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Father, I'd like some more, please. But anywho, they get into their routine of doing it this way until they see that even though they made all these secret locations and they're communicating by the birds, all of a sudden they see that their stuff has been tampered with. And not only has it been tampered with, but it has been affected in each one of their locations. So it's not like it's just they found out about one or something.
All of them.
And yeah, and not only that, but it's not just like, oh, the project's going to go wrong. It was done in a way that would be deadly if they continued.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would like explode at them. It would like all this stuff. It was like super sabotage in a not great way. So obviously Lydia sends
Pretty much like
Adrian a warning with the birds.
stop or die.
Yeah, basically.
Mm.
And they decide to meet at this like other location to talk about it and like discuss that they've both noticed the sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
They come to the conclusion that it's most likely Lady Vivian doing this sabotage. Not only is she the one with the problem, but she's very smart and she's educated enough to be able to facilitate these,
Like complex kind of
yes,
like booby
complex,
traps, basically.
yes, yes. You have to have an intimate knowledge of
The
what they're
machines and the
doing
parts and all
to be
that.
able to
Yeah.
do that. And she had training to be able to come to this kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So they assume it's her. I mean,
Nothing like a smart, vindictive bitch.
right. So they decide they're going to set a trap,
Mm-hmm.
which no went nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one, I never had any follow through. So it is what it is. But that's what they do. They focus on their trap because they're going to like make it seem like they're working on something specific to like then have recordings of whoever it is so they have evidence. But Lady Vivian, not going to let that happen. She strikes before that and she decides to take Lydia down now. So she uses all her minions throughout the castle and she has basically got everybody
On
to
her side.
follow her way. like she's the way that she talks to people to like get them to like, oh, okay, yeah, but also like making it very clear that or else type of situation so that people just quickly fall in
She
line.
is a villain.
Oh yeah. I mean, kind of a good villain if it had been explained better. Yeah, like not gonna lie.
I kind of was like, okay, but like, go
Yeah,
off, Vivian.
yeah, yeah. So she gets the like captain of the guard to do an entire inquiry. But wouldn't it be best for palace security?
She's
Yes.
smart, man.
Yes. Yes.
Gotta give her that.
Yes. And the only person who gives her any pushback is the queen, which she's not mentioned other than this one part, which I don't understand. But she pushes back on Vivian a little, and then it's like she disappears.
Because she's a woman. Vivian
Evidently.
pushed back.
Yeah. I wish I had more of the queen because whatever. So while the guard is doing his investigation, Vivian tries things her own way. And when Lydia gets back to her room, there's a beautiful package waiting for her.
It was gorgeous too, and it's like so well made,
Well
and it's like
crafted, just
perfect
perfect.
for her.
It's this like puzzle box, and it takes her, oh, and she loves this challenge. But it takes
Until
her
the end.
2 hours. Yeah, well, until then, and then it becomes the puzzle box opens to reveal a beautiful jewelry box with literally her as a dancer with this beautiful message and everything. And like it's playing the song, but then the song's kind of faltering a little to make someone kind of go closer. But she knows things enough that she hears
It like
the
releases like
change
a.
in yes, and then all of a sudden the thing explodes and releases a gas like to puff up at someone's face, which I also don't understand because if it did release the poison gas, wouldn't it have gone into the room?
So the way that I saw it was like this little tiny
Just,
amount, and she
yeah, just
saw
like a
it, so
puff.
she like made sure it
She
wasn't near
got,
her when
yeah,
it
she backed the
exploded.
fuck
But
up, right?
yeah,
But I feel like it would still be in the room enough, and maybe it would dissipate because it wasn't in
I don't
someone's
know, maybe
face. But
unless it was like just like enough for if it was in someone's face, not
yeah,
something that would like fill an entire room. You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah. So yeah, things have escalated to legit attempted murder now.
Yeah.
But you can't really prove it because the box exploded.
Yeah.
So she sends Adrian a message through the birds,
I personally would think that an exploded box might bring some evidence because it exploded.
but not
Okay.
evidence of who sent it.
That's true. Fair point.
That's their problem. So then that didn't work. So the backup plan is
To
rolled
get rid
out.
of her.
So the captain that's been working, of the captain of the Royal Guard who's been working behind the scenes, finds Lydia. He needs to talk to her. He has some questions for her. Yeah.
You know how you guys were, sneaking around in private? That doesn't look real good now, does it?
Not only were there reports of her going into places that she shouldn't really be in, but there have been deliberate reports of her questioning like the security of the kingdom. And there's documents, looks like her handwriting of like plans to basically like overthrow the kingdom.
That
And
and
then,
like do some sort of like security cameras and like
yeah,
all this
and just
other
watch
stuff.
them. And then all this stuff that was found in her room as all this incriminating evidence that was planted. And these are very serious allegations.
Bitch,
Yeah.
not only are you probably fucking the prince, but now you're also trying to basically
And the evidence is
be
so
like
substantial that
a
there's no fighting it.
spy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's basically like, it would be best if you consulted legal counsel.
Yeah.
She sends another bird, like frantically, to Adrian, like, the
Fuck.
fuck. Yeah. Adrian then gets summoned by his father to a meeting, and it's basically like a chastised meeting of like, what are you doing? But this, that, and the next thing. And Adrian is like, bro, why are you getting all mad at me kind of situation? Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. And he's basically like, Miss Ashworth is engaged in espionage activities, and they threaten the kingdom's security. And it has been told that you might be involved in all this stuff. And he's like, no, like, what are you talking about? She's being framed. And the dad is basically like, that may be, but we have
But
to save ourselves, kind of thing.
yeah. And like you're engaged to Vivian, like you need to kind of get your shit together and like he it was an interesting option of like get your shit together or like I'm disinheriting you and you're gonna be like
Yeah, he's
banished.
he's
Goodbye,
almost like
fuck
as if
off.
he's the one like heard about it. Like you put me in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
You're the if we break this alliance, that could ruin
Destroy like
stability for the
yeah.
kingdom for generations to come. And making an accusation against her is also bad, but then a scandal involving espionage and all this stuff, like, no, we need to try our best to get out of this situation without it looking bad on us. You need to end your relationship with Lydia, proceed with your marriage with Lady Vivian, and if you don't, you'll be stripped of your titles.
And he's like, let me think about it.
I know.
Which honestly kind of a boss move though, because like you're being threatened
Yeah.
by all this shit by the
Well, he's
king
more concerned
and
about
like
Lydia. He's like, what happens to her? And the
right.
king's basically like, the
Whatever.
courts will
Because
see if she's
which
innocent or not.
and Adrian knows that like
The
the
evidence was fabricated.
the that well so the if the courts decide it, yes, the everything is fabricated, but it is looking like they'll just do whatever to save their own skin. But the problem is the punishment for the exact crime that she is facing is typically death. So like if he just lets it go and just goes along with whatever the king says, like she could just die
Hmm.
simply because like they were working together and all this other stuff,
Yep.
and like obviously he like wants to bang her, but like
So it does not take him long to decide that his decision is fuck the crown.
yeah, which
He,
I mean, okay, you're throwing
yeah,
away all of this shit, and I which is great, like yeah, cool
he doesn't
cool
want to be
cool,
involved in
but
any of that. He writes a
no,
letter to his father to say that, you know,
no
he's
bro,
choosing exile over all that.
yeah,
And he writes a letter to Lydia about love and commitment, but it never makes it to her. She instead gets called to trial. Lasts less than 2 hours. Adrian is nowhere to be seen.
she's pissed about it.
Mhm. Guilty on all charges, with a sentence of exile from the kingdom and forfeiting all her property and privileges and everything. And the lenient punishment is so that she can't become a martyr to people
Yeah,
around the kingdom.
which I mean, it sucks too to lose everything because when she came to the kingdom, they only told her she could only take 50 pounds worth of stuff, which was like literally not, she couldn't take anything. So she had already lost all of her shit to go to the actual kingdom itself. And then now she has all this other stuff that and now she has to leave everything again and like go the fuck back. But I mean, I guess it's better than death. Like, there's
For her,
that.
it was. For her, it was. So it takes 3 days for the carriage to get to the edge of the kingdom and drop her off. Again, no word from Adrian. So she's big fat sad.
Piss.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that
So
big
she's
fat
just
sad.
dropped off on a dirt road, nothing but like her clothes, just left alone in a foreign country, no resources, no connection, no real
They could have at least
destination.
given her back to like some like. No, I get it. I get
Yeah.
the reason why they
Yeah.
didn't do it, but like, bruh.
Yeah. She follows the road to a town, finds lodging because somehow, even though they stripped her of all her possessions, somehow she has enough money to live for a few weeks. I don't know. But she explores the town and finds a little workshop. And in the workshop is a almost like messenger bird like device that she's like, huh, what? And all excited about it. And she asks questions about it. The woman, the clerk, is guarded at first, but ends up answering the questions and realizes who Lydia is because they've heard of her. Elena, who's the clerk, brings her downstairs from the shop, and it's this entire workshop with like so many people working on stuff. It's like a whole team. And she asks Lydia to join them. She says that they're a network of craftsmen and engineers and visionaries and inventors who believe that innovation should serve humanity rather than political power. And they work in secret to try to like bring all this invention to the people.
Instead of having it be like kingdom, the
Just
kingdom has like
right.
a monopoly.
Exactly. But it's allowing ordinary people to benefit from the technology versus just the castle. And the castle's only what they want anyways. So it's like
Mhm.
expanded. And she explains, they've heard of her work, word travels, they have connections at the palace. So she can stay there, rebuild her life, and help them. And she's all excited about that. She's worried about Adrian, but she got to do what she can do
Fuck
for her.
Adrian. Just kidding.
She joins this underground community.
Honestly, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So they spend a lot of time working on this invention that Lydia kind of starts and spearheads that is this like interconnected communication thing that could go through all the kingdoms, not just small distances for yours. It's this whole
It's really smart because it
yeah.
will save like instead of taking days or whatever for communication to get from one kingdom to the next, it'll take hours,
Yeah, it'll
which
span
is
the
like
entire continent, which is
yeah,
unheard of.
yeah.
So she's super excited about it. But a few weeks of working on this, they get news from the palace because again, they have informants in the
Hmm.
palace. And this informant is all like, Prince Adrian, upon his letter to say that he doesn't want to be there, he was basically imprisoned immediately. Like, not technically, but confined to his room, locked in, and
Yeah,
drugged,
yeah.
stripped of all his duties, everything.
Not allowed to
Lady
leave.
Vivian, on the other hand, inserted herself
She's
into a
thriving.
different position because Adrian is removed from succession. So she wouldn't be that for the kingdom. So instead, she's aligned herself as an advisor in all matters of innovation and technology. And she has been basically dismantling the innovation program.
I
Yeah.
mean, bitch knows what she wants to do, which is destroy a kingdom.
Yes. They begin what they call the Liberation Network. They are going to free this kingdom and other kingdoms because they realize the extent of Vivian and they realize that she's not just there to marry Adrian. She was sent there by her kingdom to infiltrate and undermine this entire kingdom and basically rid it of its technology and basically put it at baser level because she's from a place that they don't want any of this progression. They don't want any of this. So there's like a few kingdoms involved, and she's part of that, that they're trying to like take over all the others and stop it all. They have a vision and they're trying to carry it out.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Liberation Network is going to liberate these kingdoms. It's going to use all of their technology and all this stuff, and they're going to try to oust Vivian and the kingdoms for what it is.
Man, I wish we could do that. Sorry. That was an inside thought.
So many weeks later, they're still getting updates from the palace. They're still working on this. And they realize that a list has been put out of any of the inventors that aren't falling in line and just kind of like ceasing things. And Adrian is at the top of this list as a target. He's a priority target to dun duns.
To dun duns.
Dun duns. Dun dun dun. You know, they want to rescue him, but they can't really right now, so they need to accelerate all their plans. They are going to use their own methods against them. They're going to create false evidence and manipulate official channels and try to turn the tide against Vivian and these other people. It's not long after that that a message arrives by Sparrow. And Lydia's like, what? It's from Adrian. So they meet up. Elena thought it was a trap at first, but it wasn't. But none of this makes any sense. He's basically like, yes, they drugged me at first, but I built up a tolerance and I've been working behind the scenes this entire time. Locked in your room? With what resources?
Magic.
And how did you suddenly just magically become intolerant to their drugs?
Mm.
Like, I get it if you were just, it built up in your system, like, because that stuff does to me, but like, it was, I don't know, it was
Yeah,
just the way that
because it
it
would
was
be different
explained.
if he was injecting himself to build up that tolerance, because that's typically how people build up the tolerance is they inject it themselves,
Well,
just small
no, so
doses over
like,
time.
but if I take a medication, I can't take it for super long or it stops being effective in my body. But,
Right. Well, so there is a way. So there are people who like build up like poison tolerance by
right.
like injecting themselves slightly with
Yeah.
little amounts over time and build it up to build that tolerance. So that's what I'm saying. If he was
Yes,
injecting
but
himself,
it
then
just
over
seemed like it was
time,
sudden
yes. But
to create that versus
right. But
he's
I'm
like,
just
yeah,
saying.
almost right away. I was like, yeah, yeah, no, you,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is like it would make sense if he was doing it the other way, but obviously he's very clearly not doing it. So
yeah.
yes, I understand.
He's basically like, I convinced them that I've been successfully broken. I don't pose a threat to them anymore. So they're not really caring about me. Also, don't believe that, but whatever. Whatever.
I
So
could
he
believe
knows
that though.
all of Vivian's plans because, well, that he's just allowed to go free and meet her. It's just weird.
Well, yeah, if they believe that he's not a threat, then they're not going to really care. Like
I
there
guess I
is a
just don't
way.
think Vivian would let that go.
Okay, fair.
That's what I mean. I didn't believe
Mm.
that. So,
She is
anywho,
too good of a villain
Adrian,
to believe that.
yeah, Adrian knows all of Vivian's plans too because she didn't hold her tongue around him while he was drugged because she didn't think it mattered. So, between the two parties, their plan moves forward and they create this new, basically, machine
Hmm.
that compiles evidence. It like sneaks in. It's like basically a spy, which is exactly what she got exiled for to begin with. But now she's like, okay, well, you want to say that? Here I am. So they
Honestly,
basically
own that shit.
infiltrate the castle and like have all these little pieces pulling all this little evidence that is undeniable. And then they start sending all this evidence to the other countries that aren't affected to get them on their side first. And then with everybody on their side, then they can move to the other ones. However, they hit a snag in their problem because they were going to all do this on one day, but they realize they have a mole.
Yep.
Something was tampered with.
Somebody is sabotaging from
And
within.
exactly. And it's somebody who has intimate knowledge of their stuff. So it is. It's this dude named Thomas. Vivian kidnapped his daughter. And so he's been having to kind of double agent it. But now they're going to return it back on him and basically like he's going to keep giving her information, just the wrong information. And he's like, yes,
Hmm.
I'm so sorry. Like, he will do this. So they build it up like they're going to be this big shiny moment, but really they're working in the shadows and they're dismantling the other kingdoms from the bottom. And they're sending things, they're sending all these things to give evidence against all the the representatives, and it's slowly taking them down. And then they go after Vivian.
Good. Well, I don't know. I kind of really like Vivian as a
I
villain,
know. I
I
just wish
guess.
there was more, but yes. So then Vivian is exposed, and the evidence is so overwhelming that there's really nothing that she can do about it. Suddenly, the king decides to be a king and
For
takes
once.
over. Yeah.
Well, okay, so he was kind of being a king before because realistically, if he's trying to save his kingdom and he thinks that working with Vivian is going to help, like, do stuff, then I could see why he would just kind of go with whatever Vivian is saying. But obviously now, like, there's all this evidence against her. So I get it. It is politics, man.
Yeah. Vivian's downfall ended up being her journal, which this is so the way she was built up
With how smart
did
she
not,
is to
right.
downfall her with a journal.
And she was so prideful that she wrote with great detail everything that she did in her journal. Yeah. So that was her downfall. It was just overwhelming evidence that could not be
Yeah.
denied.
Boo.
So the king suspended Vivian's ability in the castle, and Vivian tried to quickly contact her allies, but they were all dealing with their own crises in their own kingdoms. She had no one to turn to, and so she had her own trial. No one to help her. And she goes out in a blaze of glory, imprisoned for life, but she's, you have no idea what you're destroying. We're trying to maintain order here. We are doing stability. Like she is dying for her cause here. Yeah. And suddenly it's over. And suddenly Lydia is allowed back in the kingdom with no actual fanfare. And Adrian is let back in. And Adrian's like, well, it's okay if my younger brother, again, is he's being primed anyways, no big deal. But his dad wants to reinstate him, all this stuff. I, it was weird because like, is he doing it? Is he not? I don't know. The king is trying to make amends, and he's basically like, well, let's make Lydia not a commoner so you can actually be with her. We're going to make her the Duchess of Innovation because now she's actually a duchess, and it will show her contributions to the kingdom. And now that she's a duchess, I'm going to have an engagement between you two. You're welcome. Go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Go
But
fuck
Adrian's
yourself.
all like, yeah, I accept this engagement. Awesome.
Duh.
Yeah, awesome. And then we have like an epilogue that's 10 years later. They're at the palace doing all right. She did not become a princess overnight, but things are grand. And Thomas, the dude that betrayed them all, apparently is now the most trusted advisor, and he has his daughter, and that's the
Nope.
end. Yeah,
Yep.
that's how I felt. That was the book.
That was the book. Who was your favorite?
Maybe Elena, who was running the underground.
Okay.
She already was like down with the sickness.
I was gonna go Elena, and then I was also maybe gonna go Vivian.
Yes, but so it would have been
Parts
Vivian
of Vivian.
if it wasn't for what took her down. I feel like that was just a poor
Hmm.
scapegoat
Okay,
because
so
that did
Vivian through the
not,
first half of the
yeah,
book.
that did not seem to vibe with the character that she was
No, I think if she was gonna get
portrayed
taken
at.
down, I'm trying to think of how she should have gotten taken down. Like, because obviously she has to get taken down. Um, I don't know. Do you think she should have gotten taken down? Is the real question.
Oh, so it's so hard because with good villains, like
Because they do have to fuck up
protagonized,
in some way. So, like,
yes and no. I
to
think
get taken
that
down.
they should have used all the stuff to just like take her out.
Just so kill her instead of just take her down.
Sure.
Okay. Sounds good. She could have gone down in a ball of flames.
Yes, yes,
Sounds good.
as she deserved.
Who was your least favorite?
The king.
I was gonna say the king as well. He is a spineless
What
motherfucker.
the fuck? I would have
Spineless.
loved the queen if we had any more to her.
Mm-hmm. Because at least she was trying to
I'm assuming the
do
second she
something.
spoke out, Vivian stashed her away, and that's probably why the puppets of the king was being used. But
Mm, yeah.
again, stuff we don't know.
Right. Right. So, Amazon doesn't have any ratings.
None at all?
Goodreads, none.
Oh, let me fix that.
Well, so we know Ariel gave it a 1 because every other platform has a 1 star and she is the only rating. So,
It only has one rating? Jeez.
mm-hmm.
How new is this? Oh, it came
2025.
out. Oh my God. Nobody's read this but us.
Ariel should have known because she's the one who picked the book and should have known and seen the ratings.
I should have, but I did not.
um, which is odd that this was a choice because typically we usually don't pick a book that doesn't have ratings. But here we are. I'm honestly giving it a 2.5. Um, it went down a little bit as we were discussing just because of like other points. I do wish that it had more like building out for it. And yep, the formatting was really rough. I don't know. I don't know what any of this author's other books look like or how their formatting is because he has written a lot of other books. Um,
Really? What are those
yeah.
rated?
I don't know. I can look. Give me a second. Um, but anyways, I just haven't I don't know. I don't know if it was like I don't know, man.
Nope, this one has one rating. Somebody rated a 4. This one has no ratings, it looks like. So most of his stuff has no ratings.
So he's just probably writing for the love of
Just
it, for the love
doing
of
his
the
thing.
game. hmm So I don't know. Some of his books are in Spanish. So
Interesting.
yeah, I mean his name is Spanish.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, obviously we discussed a lot of our feelings at the very beginning
What did you rate it?
of
Did I miss it?
two. I said
Okay.
2.5.
Oh. What? Sorry.
Because I wasn't as angry about it. There is potential, and like I have to give that props. And there were parts of the book that I did like enjoy, like part of the story, and I like the world. I wish there was more world building. I wish there was more stuff. It was hard with the formatting. I completely understand that, and I wish that the stuff was broken up more. But at the same time, like I didn't hate it as much as you did. So
Oh, I should have changed my thing to be not a
nope.
romance. No.
Mm.
On I was rating it on Amazon.
So the romance is technically there. It's
Mhm.
just very muted and very hidden. Shut up. It's kind of like I said, the romance is kind of taking a backseat to the actual story itself, but it is kind of there. There is no smut though. But it
Not
was
even
not
a
billed as a
kiss.
smutty book.
How did it end up like this?
Well, how did it end up like this? As Ariel chose it. So, and she did zero research because otherwise we would not have actually read this book.
Listen, I it was definitely not a one-handed read, but I would
No.
survive because I would get the fuck out of
Mm-hmm.
there. Let's see if Crystal will choose a better book next week.
Let me bring up the wheel. Yeah, let's see. We're really getting down there. So the thing is there's 2 books for me, 2 books for you. So
Yeah.
we're finally evened out.
Yes.
Alrighty. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3. Click. It's gonna be me.
Thank fucking fuck.
It is Home Game by Odette Stone. Let me pull everything up.
What was this
This
category?
is a nice to everyone, but she doesn't trust it.
Okay.
It is a hockey romance.
Angie would be
So,
proud. Though it's book two
yes.
in the
I think it's
series.
fine.
Is
It
it fine?
doesn't matter. Typically, stuff like this. This is a standalone, and it says this series can be read in any order.
Perfect.
It is
Love
only
that for me.
400 pages, so hate that for me. But here we go. All right,
I mean, at
so
350, but it's still bigger than you typically like to be.
correct. Home Game by Odette Stone. He's a professional hockey player trying to survive on his new team. I'm just trying to survive. I'm down to my last dollar. I live day to day in a world that doesn't care. Despite my bad luck, I'm a fighter. I never give up. I never stop trying. Ryan Parker's wealth and generosity sets him apart from anyone I know. Yet, I don't trust him. It's nothing personal. I trust no one. But when my bad luck takes a turn for the worse, one person shows up Ryan Parker. I do not understand why he bothered because the guy has enough of his own issues to deal with, but I don't have a choice. I need him. It's a matter of survival. His friendship changed everything. It changed me. I started to believe in myself. I allowed myself to trust, and for the first time in a long time, I felt my heart beat again. In the game of love, winning is harder than it looks. I don't know the rules. I don't know how to win, but I'll play my heart out until the whistle blows. Home game, who's got your back when the puck drops? So, yes, this is a he's nice to everyone, but she doesn't trust it. So we'll see what happens. And
Solid.
this actually was an Angie category.
Oh, that makes sense. Makes sense. I
That's not
like
why
it.
I picked this book, but but the category itself was an Angie category. So
Yes.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Join us next week and make sure to keep reading.
And keep it smutty. Who?
It doesn't. Elena?
Oh, okay.
The shopkeeper
Sorry.
lady?
I was like, who? Wait, what is? I got it. I got real confused, and I had to be like, "Am I doing the wrong thing? Did we fuck up?" And then I was like, "No."
No. Oh, fuck.
Oh fuck.